Saturday Night Live. You get a call to perform in the Superfan skit.
Yeah.
Talk about that reality.
Well, it was just a hosting gig, and they pitched what I'd like to do. Did I see the version with Joe?
Oh, okay.
And I said, yeah, that was cool. And they said,
Right.
would you want to try to do that one? Yeah, that'd be great.
And here we got some of it right here. So this is
Yeah.
you and Joe and Robert performing.
Yeah. Robert Smigel wrote most of them. Bob Odenkirk and Robert Smigel basically created the characters.
Oh wow,
And,
Saul.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he and Robert wrote a screenplay also.
Right. Yeah.
For this Superfans movie.
So talk about that. That's what this is, right, George? You were alluding to that.
Well, we
earlier.
were doing a reading for charity of the movie that never happened because Chris passed away. So
Chris Farley.
yes,
Yeah.
Chris Farley,
Yeah.
the late great.
What would you say is the plot of this movie? Can you reveal that? Because it sounds like
Yeah,
I'd like to guess what it is,
yeah.
but you could.
Okay, you'd never guess.
Okay.
It was whack.
Okay.
It was the boys were.
Apocalypse Now.
It was a satire against corporate suites in new stadiums. And it wound up being just called like fan ball, where they had to push one fan member across the goal line. So it was like Chicago versus Philadelphia. Literally, just morons, like us, on the field, like 10,000 people on a field pushing it, and Marty Short up in the booth going, "I love it," and it was, they're silly characters, but, but Robert Smigel is a vicious satirist, and they went for the jugular with this screenplay, and it probably, Chris was so hot at the time, it probably would have got made.
Yeah. It would have.
Yeah,
it would have, absolutely, because that's they were making all those SNL movies. They made Pat, Wayne's World, The Coneheads. They were all spin-offs and skits.
And but that was a reading, and Mike Ditka was there, and we had fun.
Wow. It's a long history with you in SNL, George. The first time you hosted was with Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Now what was that like? That's a very unique combination. It's like, well, we're going to have Woody Harrelson and Steven Spielberg, but they're not available, so how about Coppola and George Wendt?
Yeah.
How did they cast that? What was the thinking?
Apparently Francis wanted to do it for a while and had bugged Lorne about it. And so Lorne, it was Lorne's first year back. And so once again, I was hosting, and it was the season finale. And, I went out, and it was very weird. No band. Well, the musical guest was Philip Glass.
Right.
So the band was not in the background.
So G.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live were not there.
No,
wow.
They were not there. There was no, happy jazzy sax and all that energy that they bring, and the applause, and instead it was a super. Francis Ford Coppola presents Francis Ford Coppola's Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
Starring George Wendt as the host. Place, New York City. Time, now. And I walk on to dead silence, no band, no sax, nothing. And I start in with my monologue, and I get about 2 or 3 jokes in, and Francis comes swooping in on a crane with a megaphone. George, and a beret. It's like, I didn't believe that. I didn't. Could you try that again?
Right.
Only this time, do something. And I said, well, Francis, they already heard the jokes. They're not going to laugh again.
Right.
And he says, audience, try to recall something from your childhood that made you laugh. It's like
that's almost, George, a whole show based on an homage scene from Apocalypse Now. Remember that when Robert Duvall and he's keep acting like it's fun. Remember, he's actually in Apocalypse Now, so it sounds as though he recreated a whole SNL episode based on that.
It was cool. And then the ending was everybody with the good nights and waving
and none of that
crazy music, and it was me out on 6th Avenue. Outside of 30 Rock, and trying to hail a taxi. And of course, you know, limos of people,
Yes.
you know, like bridge and tunnel people were, it's Saturday night at 1 in the morning, and said, "Hey, that's the Norm guy, pull
Right.
over there." I'm like, "No, keep going, we're doing a bit." You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like trying to get a taxi.